Ever found yourself stuck in a loop of indecision, pondering the consequences of action versus inaction? This question takes us right into the heart of one of Shakespeare's most celebrated tragedies, Hamlet. The protagonist, Prince Hamlet, is a character steeped in internal conflict and indecision, often caught between the urge to act and the fear of the consequences that action might bring. Let's delve into this complexity. Hamlet is a character in turmoil, haunted by the ghost of his father urging him to seek revenge. Yet he finds himself ensnared in a web of indecision. This is beautifully encapsulated in one of the most famous soliloquies in all of literature, To Be or Not to Be. Here, Hamlet grapples with the weight of existence, the fear of the unknown, and the consequences of action and inaction. To be or not to be, that is the question, Hamlet muses, contemplating the notion of ending his own life to escape his torment. Yet he remains paralyzed by uncertainty, pondering the moral and existential implications of such an act. This soliloquy is a profound reflection of Hamlet's internal struggle, the tension between the desire to act and the fear of the unknown consequences. As the play unfolds, we witness Hamlet's indecision lead to a series of tragic events. His hesitation to act on the ghost's command for revenge, his inability to decide whether Claudius is truly guilty, and his inability to take his own life all contribute to the escalating tension and eventual downfall. Each moment of inaction has a ripple effect, leading to tragedy and chaos. Hamlet's struggle with action and inaction isn't just a plot device. It's a reflection of a universal human experience. Who among us hasn't grappled with indecision, weighed down by the potential outcomes of our actions? Hamlet's story serves as a mirror, reflecting our own fears, uncertainties, and the paralyzing effects of overthinking. So Hamlet's indecision serves as a stark reminder of the paralyzing effects of overthinking and the importance of decisive action. It compels us to reflect on our own choices and the potential consequences of letting indecision rule our lives. Have you ever sought revenge, only to discover that it doesn't bring the satisfaction you expected? This question is central to the tragedy of Hamlet, a play that delves into the destructive nature of revenge. In the gloomy corridors of Elsinore Castle, Prince Hamlet is driven by a thirst for vengeance. His father's ghost has revealed a bitter truth, that his own brother Claudius is the murderer. This revelation sets Hamlet on a path of revenge, a journey that is as consuming as it is destructive. Hamlet's quest for vengeance is a double-edged sword. It fuels his determination but also his madness. He becomes so engrossed in his mission that he loses sight of his own sanity, and the lines between reality and pretense blur. His pursuit of revenge doesn't just affect him, it sets off a chain reaction of tragic events that lead to multiple deaths. Ophelia drowns, driven to despair by Hamlet's feigned madness. Polonius is killed accidentally in a fit of rage. Laertes, in his own quest for revenge, ends up poisoned, and Queen Gertrude, Hamlet's mother, dies by the same poison meant for her son. And Hamlet? In the end, he does achieve his revenge, but at what cost? His life. Thus, Hamlet's tragedy underlines the destructive nature of revenge and its potential to cause more harm than good. It serves as a stark reminder that vengeance, while seemingly a path to justice, often leads to one's own downfall. Ever wondered about the corrupting influence of power and its fleeting nature? In Hamlet, Shakespeare delves into this very concept, using the character of King Claudius as a mirror reflecting the moral corruption and fragility of power. Claudius, Hamlet's uncle, is a character who embodies the corrupting influence of power. Driven by an insatiable desire for authority, he resorts to regicide, murdering his own brother to claim the throne. His ambition blinds him, turning him into a morally compromised figure. Claudius's actions serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of unethical deeds driven by the lust for power. Shakespeare uses Claudius to explore the depths of moral corruption one can sink to when power becomes an obsession. The king's actions reveal that power, when sought without regard for ethics, can lead to one's moral downfall. It's a grim picture of how power, when mishandled, can corrode the soul, leading to a decay of moral values. In addition to corruption, Shakespeare also explores the fragility of power through Hamlet. Claudius may have ascended the throne, but his reign is far from secure. The ghost of his slain brother haunts him, and his actions stir suspicion, leading to an unstable rule. His power, built on deceit and treachery, proves to be as transient as a mirage. Claudius's downfall underlines the inherent fragility of power. Authority built on lies and betrayal is as shaky as a house of cards, ready to tumble at the slightest breeze of truth. Power then is not as solid as it may appear. It's fleeting, fragile, and can crumble when built on shaky foundations. Through Hamlet, Shakespeare invites us to reflect on the nature of power and the consequences of our actions. He shows us that unchecked ambition and unethical actions can lead to moral corruption. Moreover, he underscores the often overlooked fragility of authority. Indeed, Hamlet starkly illustrates the corrupting influence of power and the often overlooked fragility of authority. Have you ever pondered the meaning of life or the inevitability of death? Hamlet, the protagonist of Shakespeare's renowned tragedy, certainly did. His soliloquies, those profound monologues, serve as a window into his soul, revealing a man grappling with existential dilemmas. Consider his famous contemplation, to be or not to be. It's not merely a question of life or death, but a profound inquiry into the nature of existence itself. Hamlet ponders whether it's nobler to endure life's hardships or to take arms against them, essentially questioning the value of life and the fear of the unknown afterlife. In another soliloquy, Hamlet reflects on the impermanence of life as he holds Yorick's skull, a jester he knew in his childhood. He contemplates the inevitability of death, musing that even the great Julius Caesar's dust could end up plugging a hole to keep the wind away. This confrontation with mortality underscores the transience of life, reminding us that death is the great equalizer, reducing all, regardless of their status or accomplishments, to mere dust. These existential musings pose questions we all face. What is the purpose of life? What lies beyond death? Though Hamlet doesn't provide definitive answers, his reflections encourage us to ponder our own existence, our fears, and our aspirations. In the end, Hamlet's existential musings remind us of the transience of life and the pressing need to find our own purpose within